La comparsa de miseria sin fin desfila en torno de aquel ser enfermo que pronto ha de morir de pena.
With just the first 4 notes, it is instantly recognizable. The Cumparsita is the song that made the music and the dance of the tango famous around the world. It has seeped into popular culture, and it is said to be the song with the second most amount of versions ever recorded, second only to Yesterday by the Beatles. The tango is most often associated with Argentina, but here in Uruguay is where the most famous tango of all time was composed 100 years ago. The Cumparsita was written by a young architecture student, Gerardo Matos Rodriguez. It was first played in April 1917 at the La Giralda bar in Montevideo. That bar is no longer standing. In its place is this iconic building in the very heart of the Uruguayan capital, the Salvo Palace. And on the exact location where the bar once stood is now a museum. It's there where I first headed to find out more about the Cumparsita.
You may not know the name of the song, but you have probably heard the song, you know how the song kind of goes.
At the museum, I met FRANCESCO Bellagamba, who would tell me about the song and how it came about.
Well, it's kind of like a legend, The thing is that Matos Rodriguez, he had absolute ear, He didn't know how to write or read music, but just by listening to a melody, he could actually play it on an instrument. Now, he had that, and when he was 19 years old, he suffered from tuberculosis. He fell into a very deep fever, he hallucinated, and his family thought he was going to die. But at the last moment, he actually recovered. And when he woke up, he told his family that he had brought something from the afterlife. So he asked his sister, Ofelia, to sit right next to him, and as he whistled a song playing on a cardboard piano, his sister wrote the original song, La Cumparsita.
So this song was the result of feverish inspiration. But what does the name Cumparsita mean?
A comparsa is a musical group, okay? Around 20 to 50 people who parade down the street, men and women dancing, playing different types of drums in a very repetitive and basic rhythm, okay? This is a comparsa. Here at the cafe, there was a very famous Italian waiter who spoke terrible Spanish. And when he came with his friends from La Comparsa, the Italian waiter would say, "Here come the kids from La Comparsa," which ended up baptizing the song La Cumparsita.
An immigrant's poor Spanish gave the name of tango's most famous song. So too, the influence of immigrants to this region of South America was what formed the music and the dance of the tango. The wave of immigration in the late 19th and early 20th century brought immigrants from across Europe, and with them, their different musical influences contributed to the sound of the tango. Here at the museum, they like to say how the Cumparsita has made it around the world since being played for the very first time on this spot 100 years ago. But the song has gone much, much further away too. Do you like tango?
Well, I don't play tango, but I like to hear it.
Gonzalo Tancredi is a prestigious Uruguayan astronomer. In April, Montevideo hosted a major international astronomy conference.
After many years, then the asteroid has a number and the possibility to be named. And the discovery has the right to propose a name for this asteroid.
Some asteroids are not named for years, and as tradition dictates, as hosts, Uruguay were given the honour of deciding what to call as yet unnamed asteroids. They suggested names of an amateur astronomer and a famous mathematician, but also the country's most famous song.
We proposed the name for the tango La Cumparsita because this year we have the 100 years of the first time this famous tango was playing. Now we have an asteroid with the name of the tango La Cumparsita, which number is 10,477. So it's a number and a name, and well, it's an asteroid of the main belt. The main belt of asteroids are in between Mars and Jupiter, so it's an object orbiting around the Sun.
Back on Earth, in Uruguay this year, it's been lent over to centenary celebrations for this song. Matos Rodriguez is buried in the cemetery in Montevideo that overlooks the River Plate. Near his resting place are also some of the country's greatest writers, like Mario Benedetti. Yet while the song he wrote is so well known, less is known about Matos Rodriguez. It was a younger member of his family, great-granddaughter Rosario Infantossi, who wanted to find out more about his past.
Cuando yo cumplí 40 años, yo sentía como adentro mío la necesidad de saber quién era la persona a la que yo tenía que agradecerle tanto. Porque el dinero de la Cumparsita que mis abuelos heredaron fue un dinero que mis abuelos lo invirtieron en sus 12 nietos para darnos educación. Y después más adelante también, cuando empezamos como a caminar en la vida, nos prestaban dinero para comprar nuestras casas y después nosotros lo devolvíamos. Y viste cuando tú sentís que ¿a quién le tengo que agradecer yo tanta cosa buena que disfruté? Y yo no sabía quién era, porque yo tenía 1 año cuando murió. Pero la intención siempre era descubrir quién era esta persona que es el autor desconocido del tango más conocido del mundo.
Infantossi discovered old photographs stored away that are now part of the cultural heritage of this city. But it's not just the family who have benefited from the rights to this song. Matos Rodriguez sold the rights at a young age. It was the legendary singer Carlos Gardel who made the song so famous in Europe. Matos Rodriguez had a long legal battle to win the rights back. Alexis Buenseñor is the director of the Uruguayan Authors' Rights Association.
Es que la Cumparsita es parte de la identidad de los uruguayos. Yo creo que Matos Rodríguez tienen otras obras para descubrir, pero no tuvieron el éxito que tuvo la Cumparsita.
So while the rights of the Cumparsita are now publicly owned, in Uruguay that money is reinvested in the music industry.
Y sus derechohabientes hasta el año 1998 en Uruguay cobran los derechos. Después pasaron al dominio público y se ve beneficiado en este caso el Estado, que lo manda al Fondo Nacional de la Música, que es muy importante la visión, porque si vemos que una obra como la Cumparsita está todavía beneficiando a músicos uruguayos que quizás en aquel momento no eran siquiera nacidos.
As well as his role as the director of the institution that protects authors' rights, Buenseñor also directs one of the tribute concerts to the song, including famous singers such as Elsa Moran, now in her 80s.
Es un misterio, la Cumparsita es un misterio, porque uno la siente, yo que sé, a mí me emociona, y siento, yo cuando era muchacha joven iba a los bailes y hacía el primer compás, la Cumparsita, bailaba aunque fuera con un gato, que viera si no me sacaban a bailar, porque me encantaba. Dicen que la Cumparsita no tiene gran música, para mí es sublime.
The Cumparsita is the signature song for a music that many thought would die out, but the tango is enjoying a new wave of interest, says the singer Nancy De Vita.
Siempre decimos el tango va a morir o se comentan entre los tangueros, pero no. Es decir, han desaparecido ya por el tiempo los mejores exponentes del tango, tanto de la Argentina como de acá, pero queda lo que ellos dejaron, que es maravilloso. Y después muchos chicos jóvenes se han enganchado con el tango, primero con el baile, porque tiene esa cadencia y esa cosa apasionada que tiene el género.
At the Uruguay Writers Association, they organise open-air exhibitions like this to draw attention to the country's cultural heritage.
Me parece que es importante a nivel de políticas públicas, sino porque el tango fue declarado Patrimonio Inmaterial de la Humanidad, entonces es importante que haya incentivo a actividades que tienen que ver con el tango, sobre todo de repente desde el punto de vista educativo, que los jóvenes, que desde la escuela, desde el liceo se conozca el tango, se baile el tango, y que bueno, eso se ha recuperado un poco en los últimos años, ¿no? Creo que en Argentina pasó lo mismo, como que hubo un periodo en que estaba medio sepultado y después resucitó, ¿no?
As we discovered in Uruguay, the relationship with Argentina is unavoidable. The larger city of Buenos Aires, with its theatres and bars, attracts musicians from across the water. But tango is a heritage the countries share, thanks to a shared history of immigration. The writer and historian Ignacio Suarez says the tango is like the fado from Portugal or jazz in New Orleans.
Nació como las grandes corrientes musicales y artísticas que tocan la esencia de los pueblos. Nosotros tuvimos al finales del siglo XIX y comienzo del XX una presencia aluvional de inmigrantes. Las ciudades portuarias, nosotros le decimos porteños a los de Buenos Aires, pero nosotros también somos porteños en Montevideo por el puerto. El Río de la Plata es un callejón de agua con dos esquinas de tango, Buenos Aires y Montevideo.
Back at the Cumparsita Museum, Francesco Bellagamba clears up the debate about where this song is really from.
The song itself, like the instrumental, is in Uruguayan, but the lyrics, we could say, are actually Argentinian. So the spirit that we really try to transmit people is that it's actually both things. It's actually a thing from the region. It's actually something shared.
The Cumparsita continues to attract audiences. It continues to inspire musicians. It is a point of pride for this small South American nation to have given the world such a well-loved song. And it will always be known as the song that made the tango such an international success.